everybody. Chris Avalon here. Thank you for tuning in to another exciting episode of As I Spill the Tea. Literally. Let me take a sip because I got a whole lot to spill. On the latest thing that's going on, I got some LGBT news and I got another stuff. But the first story I want to get to, because I don't want to keep y'all just waiting in suspense, the latest on Wendy Williams. Now, this week she was supposed to return back from her fractured shoulder. But as you see, they're in repeats again. So now the latest word is she's out until further notice. She's recuperating in the hospital. There's a whole lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of conflicting reports. There's been stories coming out that she's been self-medicating, that she's in rehab. There's a whole lot of things that's been coming out with this whole Wendy case. The latest to spill the tea has been Wendy Williams' own mother-in-law, who is Kevin Hunter's mother. I almost called him Kevin Hart. I was like, child. Kevin Hunter's mother came out and is allegedly spilling the tea about her son's relationship with the iconic talk show host and gossip columnist, or gossip reporter, because Wendy's never done any gossip column. Or has she? I don't remember. I do know, well, look, I've been following since the radio show days, and she's written a gazillion books and stuff, but I don't think she's ever done a column in the ways of, like, Cindy Adams and that sort of thing. But anyway, so the National Enquirer apparently said, they're claiming that they did a month-long investigation into this whole Wendy debacle, like what's going on with her behind the scenes and all this other stuff. So basically, they're reporting multiple allegations of domestic abuse at the hands of her husband, Kevin Hunter, which have been stories that have been floating around for years. So this is nothing new, that, in my opinion, that the National Enquirer is bringing up, because I've heard stories about Kevin. I mean, this is also not the first time he's cheated on her, but I digress. So according to the report, Kevin's mother basically said that she's witnessed this on multiple occasions. I even think Wendy's parents have seen some shit, but they're going to keep quiet because it's probably what Wendy wants. So what his mother has said, I saw Kevin choking out Wendy. Another time I witnessed him kicking the shit out of her and pushing her down the stairs. Her name was Perla Hunter. And this is what she told the National Enquirer. Now, they're going to come out and say, oh, well, people trying to come out the woodwork and get money and whatever the case is. That may be true, or whatever the case is, but I really feel like, Wendy, you need to get in front of this. Stop trying to hide. Stop trying to, act like you're the Julie Chen black version, that you want to sit and hide out and do whatever it is you need. I mean, even though that old bitch is back on Celebrity Big Brother doing the what do you call it, the hosting and all that stuff. I got something on Celebrity Big Brother coming up soon too, so stay tuned for that. But I don't know. So and look, I know many of people that have said that Kevin has this menacing appearance about him, that he's very bullying, that he tries to control Wendy and everything around her. I really feel that this man is just jealous because he married somebody with talent, and he feels like remember back in the day when he was on, when Wendy had the radio show, and Kevin used to always pipe up in the background trying to hype up his wife like he was in, and she would get so embarrassed. That's what that reminds me of. Like, all of this is starting to come back. I don't put nothing past this man. I really feel like he feels inadequate because A, he's 10 years younger than her, and B, the fact that he wishes that he had a career like hers. The mistake she made was having that man be her damn manager. So, and the word on the street, as I've said this numerous times on this show and in many other places, Wendy is apparently worth $60 million. So for her to divorce him, I don't necessarily know how Jersey law works in regards to marriage, but does she have to split all her earnings with him? I would rather do that and keep my sanity and my health than have to deal with this no good mother father over here in this corner. So I will keep you guys updated on this tea as it develops. And good luck to you, Wendy, because you want to know something? This shit you be preaching on your show about people need to leave their man whenever it comes up to ask Wendy, and you be talking about, oh, you need to leave your man, and you need to leave this one, and this one's no good for you, and all this other foolishness, and you not following your own damn advice. It makes you look a bit hypocritical. So, I hope that you manage to get your sugar honey iced tea together. And oh my God, I lost literally one of my topics. Like, it just closed on me. So bear with me as I try to talk to all of y'all around the same time about get my opinions as I look this thing up. Just give me a second. Okay. So I hope that Wendy gets it together and that sort of thing, because I don't my thing is I don't like to wallow in people's misery or hope for their demise or whatever it is you want to call it. I like to see, like I hope that, in my opinion, that she gets all of her shit together, that she gets herself back on track. I don't know, maybe because you know what? Doesn't Missy Elliott have Graves' disease? I don't think people are able to bounce back fully and strongly with that. I don't know how. I mean, I know like people work their ass off when they're doing these talk shows when it's like an hour and 5 days a week and all this other stuff. But I feel like with her health on the decline, would it be better to just cancel the show? Like, I love celebrity news and gossip, and maybe we need to get some people in. You want to know something? Here's an idea. If Wendy's out, how about y'all just have Michael Yo and Bevy Smith host? First of all, last week when they did that whole group thing where they had all them people on there when y'all was trying to do the View of gossip, which was a hot ass mess, mind you. I actually enjoyed watching some of the people and how they bantered. My favorite episode of that, when they did that whole weekly group thing, was when they had, what was it? It was Bevy Smith, Michael Yo, that other chick from Hot 97, never heard of her. TT, whatever the fuck her name was. And who's the other white one that be on, that's on, not Ross Matthews, why can't I think, because he's barely on the damn show as is. I don't know why they got him on Drag Race, he's barely there. Carson Kressley. When they had all four of them on there, to me, I felt like the best two that was really giving it to me and just cracking me up and giving me my life, was Michael Yo and Bevy Smith. Have them two just go on there. Have them be what Kelly and Ryan should be on the Kelly and Ryan show, because those two about as dry as an old lady's cooch after menopause. Get rid of the rest of them. Have them two on that stage and them do a Rita's and Kelly or a Kelly and Ryan type of show with just them two. Spread the tea. Celebrity news and gossip. That'll be their audition. You give them their show. Get rid of Wendy. You know I live for Wendy and she's always my replacement. That's karma getting your ass, because you be throwing so much shade at people trying to act like they're trying to take your place. But I don't think people are trying to take your place. There are many people like myself and so many others who do celebrity news and gossip that have grown up watching you, that have grown up. Like, there's so many people that I take from, not just her. It's like I love Wendy Williams. I watched her. I took a bit of Howard Stern. I took a bunch of other people, threw it in a little gumbo, sopped it up with a biscuit, and here you have yours truly. So you come up and you take little things here, there, and everywhere and make it your own gumbo, and you sop it up, and you do you. So I feel like there should be other people that have opportunities, and there are many times where I've heard that Wendy has tried to step on other people's careers and things. Like Angie Martinez was supposed to come out with a show done by the same people that produced her show, when she stepped on that and got in the way of Charlemagne's show and a whole bunch of other shit. So this could be, on the other hand, karma. But it is what it is. I'll keep you guys posted. Let's move on. So now that I've brought up the story that I want to talk about, let's talk about season 11 of Drag Race. So a couple of hours ago, the season 11 queens were revealed at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on VH1. I sat up, I watched it. I watched about 40 minutes of it, had to cut it off because it was fucking awful. And I'm going to tell you why. Adam Rippon, you are not a host. You're not very good at it. You're cute to look at. I get VH1 was trying to look for someone who is entertaining, or not even entertaining, but current. Because that's the way these people think now. Y'all are so out of touch with trying to find a personality or somebody who even knows how to interview. You're just looking at who's a hot button person that you could put up there and really entertain us. Oh, let's get Adam Rippon because he's so, the whole thing that he did with Dancing with the Stars, and then he went on Dancing with the Stars Junior. He was judging that. And then, he's been here, there, everywhere, and everybody loves Adam Rippon. He's not a good host. He was not really interacting well with the queens. I feel like I'll tell you in a minute who I thought that had the best Q&A answer, back and forth banter. But first, let's reveal who the queens are that's on the new season. So, Akira Chanel Davenport, Ariel Versace, we have Brooklyn Heights, my sister Honey Davenport, who I've been talking about for the longest. I'm so glad it finally came out that she's on the show. Kahana Montrese, Mercedes Iman Diamond, Nina West, Plastique Tiara, Raja O'Hara, Scarlet Envy, Sugar Cane, Silky Nutmeg Ganache, Soju, who is like the black version of Milk, Evie Oddly, and Miss Vanjie herself, Vanessa Van G Mateo, is back on the season, who is basically, she's going to be the Shangela of season 11. Because you all remember back in the day, Shangela was kicked off her season after the first episode, got to come back. What was it? She was in season 2, got to come back for season 3, and wound up in, what was it, the top 4? So she made it really far. I believe Miss Van G will probably make it far in this season. They're capitalized over the fact that she got eliminated in the last season. She had this phrase that just exploded, and now she's back on TV to get another chance. Well, from what I heard, that she's going to get the villain edit, because word on the street is RuPaul doesn't like when other bitches try to outshine her. So they're basically trying to give her the villain edit this season so we can knock her down to pay, because apparently Miss Van G is getting way more popular than RuPaul is. And if that's the truth, Ru, you should be glad that you have Drag Race, because before that, wasn't nobody really checking for you. Quiet as it's kept. But, yeah. So I'm looking forward to this new season. And in my opinion, I thought out of all the girls, because it was after a while I couldn't, and then Aquaria was worse too. Like, when she was up there trying to give, doing this whole thing where they had to play these stupid games that people had to vote on and all the stuff that she was saying, like, Aquaria is not very good at articulating her words. She's a look queen. She looks great. But as far as like personality-wise, it doesn't exist. And I feel like VH1 and them are trying to shove this girl down our throat. And she's just not giving me anything. Like, she's pretty to look at. She looks fabulous. She looked fabulous even during this, Meet the Queens thing that they had on VH1 earlier. But watching it, it was just like cringy. It was nails on a chalk. I couldn't. Like, it was just, I really feel like if Aquaria wants to be that well-rounded girl, she needs to take a speech class, or she needs to learn how to articulate her words when she's on camera, because she was very stiff. She stumbles over her words, and she is like, not so that she really doesn't know what to say when it comes to certain things. So I'm just not feeling her. It is what it is. Everybody's allowed to have their opinion. I just don't get that. I just don't get superstar from Aquaria. She looks great though, but looks is not enough. Like, me seeing an Instagram girl and somebody looking fabulous is not enough to be a queen for me to just get behind. You got to have a well-rounded view. But we all know that Ru stopped looking for a well-rounded next drag superstar ages ago, because he's not trying to have none of these bitches outshine her. Especially with all the shade y'all been throwing at her on social media. But whatever. So, did they even say when the new season's supposed to be coming on? No, they didn't. They didn't say, well, I guess, well, obviously it's probably when All Stars 4 is over. That's probably when we'll get the new season, season 11. So, I'll keep you posted on that as it develops. So let's talk about this bullshit. So, I feel like gay apps are at stake right now, and it might be a good thing. So, there's a word on the street that Scruff is now banning jockstraps, kissing, any kind of PDA on their profile, in your profile photos. So if you take a profile photo and you post it on Scruff, you cannot show yourself in a jockstrap, you can't show yourself kissing another man, and you cannot show yourself embracing another guy, as in hugging. This also reminds me a lot of Grindr. So now Grindr is having a lot of issues as well, where I heard that Grindr was owned by a gay man, but he sold it to a Chinese company, and the person who runs the Chinese company is homophobic, because he wound up saying something or another that he doesn't believe in marriage or gay marriage and that sort of thing. So people are saying that they're not for it. So he's not for it. So they're saying, get rid of Grindr because the guy is homophobic, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So basically, the alert says, to comply with platform policies, photos in underwear, jockstraps, or bikini-style bathing suits are no longer permitted in profile photos. Users shared screenshots of the message on Twitter. And that's where I first saw it. I saw it on social media. One of my friends posted it on Facebook. And I was like, like, I had myself a Scooby-Doo moment. And so I just looked it up. And I was like, here the story was. So Craigslist, Backpage, Tumblr, now even Scruff app, a gay dating app you have to be of consenting age to use, is centering how users can post photos. Oh yeah, that's what I saw from Amp Summers, who was a friend of mine on Facebook. That's what it was. And he wrote this. Amp Summers, host of What's the Safe Word, wrote when he posted the alert. This isn't looking so good, guys. In the message, he hashtagged Sesta and Fostra, FOSTA legislation that led, and this is basically this whole thing that we've had to deal with sites like Tumblr and all that other stuff. So legislation that says that it's intended to crack down on internet sex traffickers. But here's the thing. I'm all for going after sex traffickers, but to me, going after sex traffickers is not the same as trying to censor the queer community, because I'm going to put them all under one umbrella. The queer community of expressing themselves. Back when Tumblr was what it was before y'all started that dumbass fucking crackdown, I'm just waiting for the stock to plummet on Tumblr. Hasn't already? Fan out and let me know. But when we had Tumblr going on, this was the one platform that many porn stars, people who are self-sufficient business owners, who, they managed to use Tumblr as a platform not only to post their sexual video, like their content, be it photos, video, whatever the case is, to promote themselves and their work, but it was a platform for people who were queer to post queer art. So once you got rid of that because you say it violates our community standards and so on and so forth, you take that ability for them to bring in their creativity and all that other stuff into the forefront. So we have all this stuff, and it seems like there's been a crackdown more so on people within the LGBT community than there has been on the straight community. So to have an app that is specifically designed for same-sex people to hook up and saying you can't show yourself in a sexual manner, what's the point of the fucking app? It's the same thing with Grindr. You can't post no kind of sexual anything on there. I mean, in the messages when the person hits you up and is like, what's up, or likes your photo with the flame or whatever, and then you go in and y'all message each other, you can post nudes, but you can't post nudes or show yourself in any kind of way that's like, oh, he looks good, let me hit him up. Why? I mean, it is catfishing, but it's a whole nother story. But to me, it just feels like it's this continuous crackdown. And you know what? Here's the thing. If it comes to this point where we have to get rid of Scruff, we got to get rid of Grindr, we got to get all this other stuff, and God forbid, go back to the days of going to a bar and actually meeting someone there with the possibility of going home with them and they becoming your boyfriend, fuck buddy, fuck boy, whatever you want to call it, so be it. I yearn for the days where I would go out to bars and this, that, and the other and meet people and hook up. I wish we can kind of go back to that instead of the bullshit games that most people play on these sex apps, or, like the Scruffs and the Grinders and stuff. So if it happens, I mean, it's getting ridiculous. I don't know necessarily what we can do to change this attitude and this brand of thinking with people, but I don't know. It just feels like that there's just been this thing against sex, and you know what? Maybe it's these people's way of trying to hide their little dirt, because we know there's a lot of politicians and a lot of people, especially these Republicans, that use a lot of these apps to get their freak on, get their freak on, get their freak on. Freak. Okay, so I'll keep you guys updated on that as it develops. But my thing is, if we all have to go back to the days of going to a bar and hooking up and shit, I'm all for it. I don't mind it. Okay. So now there's a news story that's been piping up about Bryan Singer. There was an article that was done where they basically said that Singer. There was an article that was done that basically there was on Bryan Singer and his past, where he had been preying on teenage boys for years, which I already knew about. There have been many stories I heard about this. I mentioned this multiple times on my radio show, which you can find on iTunes and alldigitalradio.com, Chris Avalon Show. Yes, it's coming back. I'm still working out the kinks and all the other stuff with that. But there was an article done with The Atlantic, which they did an investigation about Bryan Singer's sexcapades for decades with young boys. So the director of Bohemian Rhapsody, which got a couple of nominations, he did not get a nomination for Best Director. Thank you, Jesus. But it basically paints him as a troubled man who surrounded himself with vulnerable teenage boys. Right, who basically was written by Alex French and Maximilian Potter. So basically, the first of those teenage boys his name is Victor Valdovinos. Victor Valdovinos, who said Singer molested him when he was working as an extra on his second movie, which was At Pupil, a movie I happen to love, by the way. You know what has me wonder, even though he's dead? I wonder if Bryan Singer ever molested Brad Renfro, and that kind of played into his drug addiction. I'm curious about that, because you know a lot of these children, when it comes to sexual abuse and stuff that goes on in this industry, and the parents not protecting them, they've seen it with R. Kelly and all these other ones. I wonder if maybe Brad Renfro was touched inappropriately. That would be a curious question that I would ask, that I wonder, because I don't think he's always. I don't know if Brad has dabbled in drugs before doing before he became an actor. He does have a nude scene in that movie, by the way, which I remember was controversial, where they had that infamous shower scene with the boys in the shower, the high school kids, where the word on the street, some of them boys wasn't of age when they did that. But anyway, the encounter irrevocably changed Valdivino's life. He says, "What if he never did this to me? Would I be a different person? Would I be more successful? Would I be married?" He says that as he watched the accusations against Harvey Weinstein mount, he thought, "Me too, only I was a kid." Then he decided not to go public and risk not being believed. There have been many stories that I had heard about Bryan Singer's infamous pool parties, when he would basically have a lot of young men there at those pool parties who looked like they were straight out of high school or probably still in high school. So there was another boy that basically said that when he was around 17 and 18 is when he met Bryan Singer, and he was passed around among the adult men in Singer's social circle. Now, this is nothing new, because you know what? As Harvey Weinstein was doing to some other girls, there are men who do it to a lot of young boys in this business. And I'm not trying to say that gay men are perverts and child molesters. That is an old wives' tale that a lot of these asshole type people like to put on when you're a homophobic asshole and you don't know much about gays. There are very few gay men who do this shit. But sex, abuse, and rape is not about sex, it's about power. So to have this thing where you come in and you have control of these young boys, this is just something that goes on, unfortunately. And the fact of the matter is, if you want to read the rest of this article, go on out.com. They did a full-on expose on this, and it was very interesting to read about how people like him and many other Hollywood execs would prey on teenage boys. So yes, the Me Too movement is not just for women and girls, it is for men and boys as well. And this whole hypermasculinity, toxic masculinity thing, we need to get beyond that and talk more about, yes, boys get abused and they should be allowed to express when they're abused and stuff as well. So last but certainly not least, I want to get to another topic, which is about Kandi and Tamar Braxton's feud. Now, apparently these two are right now on Celebrity Big Brother. I'm not watching the show. I don't care enough to watch it, but these two are entertaining enough to watch. Who gives a shit about the mooch and Joey Lawrence and them damn hair plugs and all that other shit that's going on in that damn show? All I care about is the Tamar Braxton tea, because she's being extra. The other day I saw her with a green fascinator on and a white fur coat looking like Damon Wayans from Men on Film in A Living Color. I was like, bitch, what are you wearing? Like, she's giving me full-on stereotypical gay black man. I know a lot of y'all call her E.J. Jackson, but she was just giving me, which one was he? Antoine or Blaine? I could never remember. But she basically was giving me Damon Wayans from A Living Color. Men on Film. Hated it. Anyway, so apparently Tamar doesn't understand why her and Kandi aren't friends. She was like, well, our kids never played together. We've never done this, that, and the third together, so we're not really friends. They wound up going... Tamar was a performer on the Great Escape tour. There was some shit that happened back in the day. I don't know if you all remember, but she was trying to recap what it was that was going on between them before Tamar ended up bursting into tears and all this other stuff, because Kandi was laughing at her like, well, I didn't even know we had a problem. So apparently, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a situation that transpired. Tamar Braxton was a performer on the Great Escape tour. Think about I don't know if it was last year or the year before. Now, what Tamar did as a guest, she brought out T.S. Madison and Kaya on stage. Now, if you don't know at the time, Kaya and T.S. Madison had a show called The Queen's Court. This is when everything was good before they had a little falling out. And Kaya's off in her basement roasting bitches like Trick Daddy and Funky Dineva. And T.S. Madison's off doing her own thing called the Queen's Supreme Court and making her coins. Successfully, I might add. But so she brought them out on stage. Kandi and them got upset. Word on the street was that Maddie and Kaya were kicked off. They went on their show the next day to roast the hell out of them and all this other stuff. Defended Tamar, roasted Kandi and stuff, which is just as well. I could see why Kandi kicked them off the tour or whatever the case was, because you had on the Queen's Court, Kaya was going, every man wants a woman. Like doing that, making fun of her, doing all this other shit. And Maddie sat there and was just like putting a wig over her face, turning around, not trying to get involved in the roasting gags too much. And I could see why like she would be upset about that. You're bringing somebody out on a show that has insulted me and thrown shade at me on their show on numerous occasions, and I ain't do nothing to this girl. So why would I want to give this bitch a platform when she's been, like, you're trying to benefit off my success. Like, you've been throwing shade on me, at me on your show, but now you want to come out on my stage and benefit with my coin or whatever the case is. To me, I feel like it's bullshit. So if I was in Kandi's situation, I could see why she would do that. So when Tamar does things where she says things and throws a rock and hides her hands, to me at some point, you got to take responsibility for your part in pettiness too. They'll be like, I promise you, I didn't have nothing to do with that. Well, I didn't know this was going to happen. I'm sure you're well aware. There's enough gay men that watch the Queen's Court that are in your cipher that you surround yourself with that would have put that bug in your ear and told you what was transpiring, what was going on. So, it'll be interesting to see how this all goes down. I don't think Tamar and Kandi will be going anywhere anytime soon. Ride this whole controversy to the wheels fall though. Try to stay on as long as y'all possibly can and keep it going, because Tamar's bringing the melodramatics. Kandi is doing what she's doing. The rest of them is whatever. Y'all can start chopping them off one by one. You can start with the mooch, because I'm doubting he's bringing anything, or any of the other basic ones. Okay, so I just want to say thank you all for watching. Click like and subscribe. Also follow me at Chris Avalon NYC. That's on Twitter. And Instagram, Chris Avalon blog. Leave your comments. Let me know what you thought of some of these stories. What do you think of the new queens on Drag Race? Give your opinions on the whole Wendy Williams situation. Let's talk about all my gay followers, those of you who are on the whole apps thing. What do you think about Scruff and their latest controversies? Any of the topics that I talked about, basically give your opinion, including the whole Tamar Braxton thing. Let me know what you guys think of Celebrity Big Brother. I've been watching the clips and stuff on social media. I'm not really going to sit and watch that whole show in its entirety. I can't, because I don't care about them other ones. I just like seeing all the best of the best clips, so that way I get an idea of what's going on. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Love you all for watching. See you next time. Bye.